So in our last top 10, we looked at the greatest and most brutal ways to finish him. So naturally, it's time to flip it around. But in order to look at the absolute worst, I had to bring in the master of all things suck. Nervous Nick.
Yeah, hi. But just so we're clear, we're not looking at just the fatalities. We're looking at the worst ways to end the Mortal Kombat match, period.
So, hey, I'm Stuttering Craig.
And I'm Nervous Nick.
For ScrewAttack's Top 10 Worst Fatalities.
Number 10.
So when you do a fatality, you want to see buckets of blood and like 18 skulls and 32 rib cages. Well, guess what? Don't bother with Tanya's neck breaker.
She jumps on your face and snaps your neck 3 times using her thighs. That's it.
Nick, that's what we call a vagina death.
Number 9.
Arguably one of the most broken characters in MK3, the trade-off for using Cabal was that your fatalities pretty much blew.
Well, I don't know. The head inflation's not that bad.
Shut up, Nick.
But Cabal's other fatality?
This one you look at and you just kind of go, huh.
Number 8.
Don't like losing and having it rubbed all over your face? In Mortal Kombat Deception, you can deny your opponent the pleasure of doing a fatality by instead doing a harakiri.
But when Sindel wants to commit a little suicide, how does she do it? A graceful little swan dive. Right onto her face. Which doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, she can fly. What happened there?
Number 7.
Hey, we're ScrewAttack. You know we appreciate absolute ridiculousness. And Kenshi making people's eyes fall out in Deadly Alliance is most certainly ridiculous.
But it goes on and on and on forever and ever. Like, it's not even enjoyable by the time he's finally done doing whatever he's doing.
That would be a telekinesis mind morphing, Nick.
No at all.
You're dumb. All right.
Meathead.
It's long enough to where when you play as Kenshi, it's just better to give him the old high punch to the face instead, just like you didn't know the fatality to begin with.
Number 6.
Plenty of fatalities in MK involve separating the cranium from the cervical vertebrae, but what happens when you suck at it? You get Quan Chi's fatality from Deadly Alliance.
Again, no blood. What the crap? Now, Quan Chi, you may be the man, but this fatality surely doesn't do your pale, evil skin justice.
Number 5.
Raiden, this dude is the god of thunder. He controls freaking lightning and all that other cool stuff. So, what happened here?
Now, if you slow the footage down enough, you can actually pinpoint the precise moment when Raiden realized that things weren't going to go so well for him.
Oh, crap. Number 4.
So, animalities. You either love them or you hate them. They were pretty hit or miss in Mortal Kombat 3, but there's just one that makes us scratch our heads with absolute confusion.
You are a man named Reptile. You turn into a chimpanzee. Does that make sense to anybody out there? You could have been like a Velociraptor or a Stegosaurus or some sort of Brachiosaurus or anything. But nope, we got Diddy Kong.
Number 3.
Look, when you finally get your chance to play as a towering centaur man with a laser-firing tail, how can you not have high expectations for just a huge fatality? But all Motaro does is gently place his hand on your head and pull it off. With just a little squirt of blood.
There are way too many beheadings in Mortal Kombat as it is, but with Motaro, it's not even fun to watch. It could really use a sound effect like this one, or this one, or this one, or this one, or this one.
Stop it.
Or this one.
Number 2.
Like we said in our last top 10, Liu Kang had the most iconic fatality in Mortal Kombat 2. But in Mortal Kombat 1, his was by far the lamest.
And if you notice, the screen doesn't even go black. I mean, it's like the game itself doesn't even deem this worthy of a real fatality.
Some people rip out spines, others remove vital organs, but Liu Kang just does gymnastics. All right, recap time before we get to number 1. Number 10, Tanya's neckbreaker.
Number 9, Cabal's scary face.
Number 8, Sindel's harikari.
Number 7, eyeballs go pop.
It's a home run. Number 6, Quan Chi's neck stretch.
Number 5, Raiden blows up.
Number 4, Reptile turns into a monkey or something.
Number 3, this sound.
Number 2, Liu Kang does a cartwheel. Whee!
It's number 1.
This is the trailer that got everybody thinking, holy crap, I'm going to kill Batman and Superman? This is gonna be amazing!
But as it turned out, Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe just happened to be another one of those cases where companies were too afraid to let their intellectual property be handled by others, and instead of fatalities in the classic sense, we got the lamest fatalities of all time, and heroic brutalities for the DC heroes. That sucks.
Even Kano went from ripping out skeletons to jumping and softly landing on them like a pillow. The game's box says it all right there. Mortal Kombat game, rated T. T! Mortal Kombat shouldn't be rated T!
And it's a shame too, because MK vs. DC is actually not that bad. It's just not the game it could have been. For neutering the violence and giving fatalities a bad name, the entire game, Mortal Kombat vs. DC, the entire thing, gets labeled the worst fatalities in Mortal Kombat history. Way to go.